2025. I think is it the 11th or 12th? I really haven't checked. I think it's the 11th. Anyway, doesn't much matter. What is happening on the Bitcoin markets on this Wednesday? Well, if you saw yesterday's markets, they moved along with the VEPs very nicely, and they're continuing to do the same today. You do have mean reversions happening both to the upside and the downside across a wide variety of coins and time frames. There are mean reversions to the upside on daily time frames. There are mean reversions to the downside on 4-hour time frames. And there are moves up and down, mean reversions up and down on lower time frames, 90 minute, 45, 33, 15, and so on and so forth. What is likely to happen today? Well, we've already seen some very nice movement to the downside overall so far. Modest, but nice. We've not seen, at least the last I checked, about an hour ago, we had not seen the mean reversions complete to the downside. If the mean reversion did complete to the downside on Bitcoin on this candle, I think it would be down around 106 and change. If it completes on the next candle, it would be around 107 and change. And on other coins, we're talking moves anywhere from like 5% to 20%, depending on the coin. Downward positions, which would be very nice, little pullbacks. So if you're shorting to those targets on the RMLR targets, look at where they match up on the VRE levels of those coins. You can see the very likely targets they would probably hit at or around. So you can front run the entries and the exits, right? If you're not already in the shorts, you can make the move when the occurrence of opportunity is there on the lower time frames, and then of course take your profits early and often, because you don't want to be in the move to the downside when all of a sudden it hits the target and then bounces up or comes super close to hitting the target, close enough essentially, and then bounces up like crazy. And the thing is, it's a mean reversion target, so yes, it could actually come very, very close and not hit it, and bounce up, and then hit it later at a higher area. That's also a possibility. So keep that in mind, right? Because that could also happen. By the way, also on like Bitcoin, for example, if it were to close the mean reversion, to complete the mean reversion on this candle, it would probably stab through the third band to the downside of the 1110 RMLR. So if that happens, then you have the mean reversion completing on the 3012 RMLR, and then you have the asset being below the third band to the downside of the 1110 RMLR, which means once it stops being below that third band to the downside, it will be in mean reversion to the 1110 RMLR, which will obviously be above it at some point, when it does that. And we'll see if it would complete that mean reversion going up, down, or sideways. Remember, we use the RMLRs and the bands, the outer bands, as guideposts, right, for entries and exits, etc., right, or for stopping losses, which, usually they're on a high time frame like a 4-hour. You generally don't want to be in a move, typically, that's going to be all the way to an outer band or all the way to the RMLR as a stop loss, because that's usually going to be multiple percentages, and you shouldn't be in a loss of multiple percentages on an asset, right? Like as a general rule, you can be, I know people do, but why, right? Like, what's the point? You can just get out of the trade. Like, it's better to get out, with a 0.25% loss, a 0.5% loss, even a 0.75% loss, even a 1% loss maximum, than to sit there and watch it go 1.5%, 2%, and then you're thinking, oh, it's just a couple percent, he'll turn around. Well, what if after 2% it doesn't turn around and it jumps down to 3% and then 4% and then 5% really quickly before you have time to breathe? Suddenly you're looking at a 5% loss of your trading capital on that position. Why? Right? Like, why do that? Why put 1/20th of your trading capital, or that account, in that kind of jeopardy. There's no need for that. You're better off losing not more than 1%. You frankly shouldn't lose even 1%. If you're wrong, if the asset doesn't look, let's put it this way: when you're trading with the VEPs, if the asset doesn't almost immediately go in your direction, you should just get out of the trade. Now you can say, well, but the way I trade, I notice that when I enter, it goes against me for a few minutes, and then it comes back to where I'm going. Okay, that usually means you're entering at a bad time, and you need to enter when the actual occurrences of opportunity are happening, right? So that whatever time frame you're trading on, let's say you're usually trading on the 15-minute or something, you have to look for when the occurrence of opportunity exists and take the best possible entry that you can get, and not chase after the entries. Because especially if you look at low time frames like the 1 minute, right, or lower, you'll see that if you try to enter at the lowest possible point for a long or at the highest possible point for a short, you'll see it will start to move pretty quickly in the direction where you should have already been in the trade. And you'll try to get in the trade and it won't let you. And you try to chase it and chase it and chase it. Eventually, you'll get in the trade after it's already made a significant portion of the move, if not the entire thing. Right? And that is how you'll lose your money, because then you're in the trade and now you're hoping and praying that it's going to go further in that direction. And guess what? It probably won't. Or if it does, you got lucky this time. Right? You want to be in the trades before they make the move, but like right before they make the move. How can you know that? Well, if you know how to read the VEPs, that's exactly what it's telling you, right? So when the volatility is super low and the correlation is super low and they have nothing to do but expand, you're very likely going to see a move to the upside. So as soon as you start seeing some expansion of the correlation and the volatility, you get in that long, right? Or even you do it when they're, if you see all the other indications are saying it's going to go to that way, then you get in that position, like right away. Hey, look at that. Shalom. Hi. Hi, sweetheart. What do you want? You're such a good girl. Such a good girl. You're Yufa. Shalom. I see. This is a big, beautiful dog. He loves my dog. She's amazing. It's like a giant Rottweiler / Great Dane or something really cool mixed. Anyway, amazing dog. So yeah, you want to get in the positions before it makes the move, right? So you want to be in the longs before the volatility begins to expand and the correlation begins to expand. For example, you want to get in the short before, or in the case of where they're both high, you want to get in the cases, before they both begin to contract, for example, where you want to get in the shorts before the volatility expands and the correlation contracts, or the other way around, right? Or before the volatility goes sideways and the correlation goes up, right? That's, you want to front run that short. Or before the volatility goes sideways and the correlation goes down, you want to be in that long, right? How can you tell? Well, you look at the volatility indicator and the variance and the returns oscillator, and of course you look at entropy. You look at the direction predictors. You look at which way the asset is generally going. Is it in a random walk or is it in a trending move? Is it above the power mean, below the power mean? Is it at the top or the bottom of the power mean? Is it somewhere in the middle of the power mean? If it's above or below, how far is it away? Because when it's very far away from the power mean and very far away from the reverse wave trend, at some point it's typically going to reverse and go up to the wave trend and test it, right? And it might try a few times to get there and fail. Like it'll go part of the way up, come back down, part of the way up, come back down. Might even go up again and then drop even further, right? And then give you an even better long entry up to the reverse wave trend. But eventually it will retest, for example, just dropping the downside, it'll reverse to the upside and test the wave trend. Very often it'll fail the first time. Sometimes it'll fail more than once. Depends how far along it's been falling, right? And what's happening with the asset, right? And what the targets are on the VRE, etc., and what the time frames are, right? But you'll typically see those reversals happen to the reverse wave trend. Eventually, it'll break through it, right, and go to the upside, do the same thing, and it'll run through, and you'll get to the top of the Taramine. Sometimes meet Selfresher there, and come back down, and so on and so forth. Right? The game is endless. The game, right? The way things happen, when things move, is mostly random, except for when it's a trending move, which is why it's important to keep an eye on the trending moves and the random walks. Because when you know it's in a random walk, you have to trade it that way. When you know it's in a trending move, you have to trade it that way. Anyway, folks, that's going to do for now. As always, if you want to catch a live stream on Alpha Trading, just come into the Alpha Trading Discord. You do that by going to alphatradinghq.com/discord. And the live stream start at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Monday through Saturday. And yeah, the next one's today. So come and join us in the Alpha Trading Discord, and you can participate in the live stream in real time, which is an educational live stream intended to help you learn how to trade the VEPs, right? So come there, learn. It's good for you. It's like eating your vegetables, but for trading, right? Get your brain game on. Get your trading and VEPs brain on. Know how to do this stuff, and then you get free market analysis from Bilbo, sometimes from me. It's like a free session with a bunch of people answer questions, talk about other stuff in general, but we do have fun there, right? Because yeah, it's a small, tight-knit community of VEPs traders, so we like to have fun. All right, that's gonna do for now, folks. Catch you later. Peace.